Hey guys, how's it going? My name is SNKLZ and welcome back, and in today's video I'm going to be doing a great weapons fighter best build for you guys. So this is going to be the PvE. We're going to be going for high power, high crit build along with stack and defense, as you'll see later on. So as always, my character is with the Dragonborn race. So I get 5% more healing from all spells and abilities, as well as your power and crit chance are each 3% higher than other races. So that is a great one to have for this build, because power and crit is the main stuff you're going to have anyway. So we will go over to my character, and stats wise we will look at the ability scores, as this is going to be the next thing you're going to be picking. So you want to try and get these both like 18 rolls. Rolls of 18, just so that you can get them as high as possible, because it's crit chance here and also damage bonus over here. The other stuff isn't too important. The constitution is just resistance ignored and maximum hit points. I mean, they're quite good to have, but you will be stacking other stuff high enough and wiping out enemies quick enough anyway. So as you can see, I have 13,500 power and 8,000 critical strike. So this gives me a huge high chance of a critical chance. Critical chance. So I have 44.3% chance, and my critical severity is 97%. I also do have the greater Vorpal enchantment onto it, so it gives me a 38% critical severity on the top of that. So that's just the minimal basics of the character's build. As you can see, I've got 7,500 defense. We will show you why you want to stack that and pretty much nothing else anyway. Moving into the powers, you're going to be using Sure Strike because it's the quickest attack that you can do while in determination later on. You're going to want Destroyer as your first class feature. Your huge swipes strike deep, increasing your damage by 3% every time you hit more than 3 enemies in a single attack. Stacks up to 3 times. So this is great to have because you can ending up doing so much extra damage once you've got Destroyer up to the 3 stacks, the maximum. Spinning Strike is a nice one to have, just because it's a second daily. It's not that great. You're not really going to be using it as much, to be quite honest, but it's a nice one to have to get this Destroyer, because if you've got your daily, you can just use it straight away in the battle, and you can hit 3 or 4 enemies at a time, build the stacks up full for Destroyer, and then you're ready to go with everything else. Determination obviously is your RB button. So what you do is you gain temporary hit points depending on how much determination you have, as well as being able to attack faster with your at-will abilities. So Sure Strike is going to be doing more damage and a lot quicker as well, because you can get through those reps, but your attacks do a little bit, as such, in inverted commas, less damage. But of course you're going to be repping them out so quick it won't make a difference anyway. Then you're going to be having Mastery, Weapon Mastery, as your second class feature. So you refine your mastery and great weapons, increasing your critical strike chance by 1.5% every successive hit. Stacks up to 3 times. So you get 3, and then rank 2, 3, and 4. You get 6 stacks of this, so you can get up to 9% extra critical chance. So that puts me into over 50% critical hit chance, which is amazing for the build itself. If you're getting it as high as possible, that's what we want. So we're going to be having Daring Shout as our first encounter power. So this one, you release a mighty challenge that marks nearby enemies for a short period, building your determination for every target hit, and increasing your damage resistance based on how powerful the targets are. So this is a brilliant one to have. When you go into a battle, it's the best thing to use straight away, because you build up all that defense and a load of determination. I think it can only mark a maximum of 4 people by how I've been playing and what I've been watching. It might be 5, it might be maybe 1 more than that, but it's not like you can't just run into a massive 30 mob, mark everyone, and take a load of damage resistance. It doesn't work like that. You can only mark up to a certain amount of people. But it's great because you get determination, which is what you want to smash out that at-will powers, as well as getting a high damage resistance, and it's built on how powerful the targets are. So if you're going into a dungeon, they're obviously going to be like the highest gold characters that there are, and you have a nice buff for damage resistance. And they also have marked foes have reduced damage resistance until they attack you. So if you have a control wizard with you and they stun them, you can get out an extra amount of damage from that as well. So your left trigger, or left at will, whichever one of you want to say it, your secondary, is going to be Weapon Master's Strike. So you attack with an expert strike that briefly reduces damage resistance against your at wills, and then quickly follows up with another from behind. So this is great to, again, you get out Daring Shout, they've got less damage resistance, you swipe them with LT, you get them with Mastery Strike, and then you can hit them with at-wills because you're going to be using that Sure Strike when you've got full determination. It increases your at-wills damage, as well as you being able to whack out the at-wills faster with determination. So it's better as well, because itself is a at-will power. Once you go into determination, you can just rep this one out constantly, and you keep gaining damage resistance or reducing damage resistance of your opponents as well. So it is a nice one to have. Again, going through further, you're going to be wanting Indomitable Battle Strike as your main attack. So savagely strike your target to show your other foes the fate that awaits them. After killing a target with this strike, you gain bonus action points, and nearby enemies are briefly marked. So marked targets take additional physical damage until they attack you. So again, if you've got a control wizard, it works a bit better. But this attack on its own, even if you do not wipe out an enemy with it, you build so much determination from it. It is amazing. And you can, as soon as you whack this down, you can go back into determination basically, and you're up again ready for a massive fight. So your first daily, second daily, but your main one that you're going to be using a lot is Crescendo. So this is a huge damage, like 20,000, 24,000, but with all the buffs and the feats, as you'll see later on, you can get it up to about 150,000, maybe more than that, as when you're getting into the crit strike. So you do lots of flurry of attacks, then attack from many angles spontaneously, and if they're able to, the opponent will go prone and hit the floor. You are immune to control effects, so this is a nice one to have. However, if you use this Crescendo and suddenly red hits the floor, you are basically stuffed. You are going to get killed because you cannot break out of it, as far as I know, and you just have to sit there and take the damage like a boss. It is a bit annoying. I have used this ability on bosses and they've hit me and killed me. It is a little bit annoying when that happens, but nevertheless, it's a sick attack and it does so much damage. It is amazing. And then you want Hidden Daggers as your third ability. So you fling a series of hidden blades at foes in front of you. It's like a cone or an arc. This power increases your melee damage by 10% for 8 seconds. So again, you do that twice. You get 10%, 20%, 30%. I'm going to upgrade it next time I get a PowerPoint. And it goes up to 40% extra damage. Extra power, sorry, for 8 seconds. So again, it's not going to be like one of your most powerful attacks, but it's a buff. But it's still, if you have everything ready and all your feats ready, it can still whack out 45,000 in a crit, which is nice because it's not going to hit one person, it's going to hit multiple people. The main bit that you all want to be in is the feats. So for this one, you're going to want to stack this first center one. So amount of bonus damage strength gives you by 6%. Of course, no brainer, we want extra damage. So you whack 3 points into that. Increase your maximum hit points. Yes, to be fair, it's probably better than the top one because 5% bonus action points for dealing damage while you're unstoppable. You get AP anyway so quick from using unstoppable anyway, so 5% is nice to have, and you can just rep it out loads. So you want 3 points in the bottom ones and 1 in the top. Going into the second, Fast Runner is not one you want. Stamina drain while sprinting, no way. We're about the damage and crit and everything. And again, increase your armor class and defense. This is a good one to have if you're leveling and you're able to respec for later on. It is a nice one to have just to protect you, because when you're leveling up, your character is a little bit in the beginning a glass cannon, so you can go down quite a bit earlier on. But your encounter powers deal 6% more damage. So that's the only one in the centerpiece that has 3 points. And obviously you're going to want to put the other points into these back ones once you've done it. There's no point wasting it on Fast Runner and Armor Specialization. So what you want for this one is grants your power equal to 20% of your defense. So that is why I have 7,000 defense. Every defense slot, just put an Azure in it. That's the best thing to put in. It's going to push up your power even more. Because you just want as much power as you can. The crit is the thing you want high as well. It's just insane once you get an amazing amount of power. So Constitution focus, again, Constitution, you don't want that. Power points is not that great for us. Gain maximum hit points in temporary hit points. No, we don't need that. These are the ones you want. For the last one, increases critical severity by 15%. That is a big jump. You do need that for when you get crit. That's how you can go from like 30k to 45,000 hits. That's amazing. Increase your critical chance by 3%. Yes, no brainer. That's what we're after. So you want to put the remaining points in that because it's only a 1% increment every time, whereas this is a 5. So you definitely want to get 3 points into this. And then we're going to be taking the Destroyer Paragon path through the center. We want to blitz it, take as many points from that as possible, and then just put the other points in the other paths. So the main one you want is the Great Weapon Focus. Increase your damage of your at-will powers by 10%. So that means Determination, you're going to be hitting out faster, as well as being able to do more damage with them anyway. And then Disciple of War grants you power equal to 25% of your recovery and armor penetration. So again, whatever you pick up, all the gear that you pick up is going to have stats in these anyway, so it's a no-brainer. You're going to be granting yourself extra power. Staying power, Weapon Master Strike now also reduce your target's mitigation to your encounter powers. So originally, Weapon Master Strike was only going to do it against at-wills, so its own thing, as well as Sure Strike. Now it's going to be doing it against your encounter powers, so that means Indomitable Battle Strike, as well as the daggers. Daring Shout is obviously not something it's going to do. So these second ones, you just want to miss them out, and all you have to do to miss these two out is put 5 points into this one, and then it will come up and say you can now open this. But no, you put 5 points into the bottom one and it will open up the next lot. That's how you miss out that section for you guys who are not sure. I've had a few comments on my last videos of not sure how to miss out a section. That's how you do it. You just put more points into these parts and then it opens up the next bit. So you don't want this because successful melee attacks increase your run speed, no thanks, and your AoE damage is increased by 12.5%. No, we only have fling daggers that is the AoE. The rest of them are one person attacks or one man strikes, so you do want to keep that out of the way. You don't want points in that. There's no point. Executioner's Style, Indomitable Battle Strike, that is a main one we use, as well as Sure Strike now deal 30% damage as target's health diminishes. So again, this is racking up the more you beat down the person anyway. We don't want to put anything in Relentless Battle Fury because I've used Battle Fury, but it just doesn't work as well as the Hidden Daggers. They are insane. So we don't want any points in that one. Battle Awareness, no, you don't want points in that. There's no point. We don't use Slam and Savage Advantage anyway. It doesn't matter. You want Focused Destroyer. So Destroyer is the class feature. So this now has a 25% chance to grant a stack when hitting any number of targets. So instead of having to hit 3 people, you can now hit 1, and it has a 25% chance to gain the stack in the first place. Additionally, Destroyer grants you 3.5% bonus damage per stack as well. So Destroyer is a main class feature that you have in the first place, as well as when you get 5 points into it, you can just whop it out even further. And the last point is Destroyer's Purpose. You now gain Determination by dealing damage, and Unstoppable also increases your encounter power damage by 20%. So this is when you want to use Indomitable Strike. You want to be using it while you're in your Determination. So best thing to do is go into battle, LT, Determination it, rep out your outwills as much as possible because they're increased damage from Determination, and then last bit of it, just press B and then bang, get that out before you go down smaller as your Determination makes you large. And when you deal damage while unstoppable, you gain a stack of Destroyer's Purpose, maximum of 10. Each stack of Destroyer's Purpose increases your damage by 5%, and this lasts for 25 seconds. So it can stack up to 10 times. Once you hit that stack, even when it runs out as such, you're still going to be doing it for another 25 seconds. So that is the main path you want to do. You want to get that as quick as possible, and you will see a massive game change in your character. The next lot of features you want, because the ones in there are pretty pointless to put points into them anyway, you might as well just use other classes. So your critical strikes lower your target's damage resistance to your attacks by 5% for 5 seconds. Why not? You're doing so many crit anyway, it's going to lower it so much. But it doesn't stack, but every time you do it, it comes back again. So 5 seconds runs out and you get another chance to do it again, which is good. We don't want these ones because control targets and run speed, no thanks. Flourish, don't use that. Combat advantage is alright, but there's no point in having it because a lot of the time you're just attacking people. You're not worried about going around behind people. So these ones scale agility. You gain 5% chance of deflection attacks. That one is better than this one. Activating Unstoppable now heals you. It's better to have deflection in the first place anyway, but we're not after that. We're after this point here. Powerful challenge. You deal an additional 15% damage to marked targets. So this is from the Daring Shout. This is what matches up with it. So you get 15% damage increase to marked targets. You go in with Daring Shout and all that lot and get the extra damage from that. And we don't want crescendo reducing anything like that. There's no need for it. So we go into the boons. I haven't done all the boons, but I will run through the ones that I will be picking. So with Sharandar, you obviously went with power over defense, because with the defense one, we only gain 20% of it. So you just want 100%. Critical strike and deflection, you obviously want crit strike. Action points over 1,600 hit points. Yes, we take that. When striking a foe, you have a chance to deal 20,000 arcane. Yep, we want the bottom one, not the top. And then for this one, you're going to be, when you kill a foe, you gain 135 power for 45 seconds. So this stacks up to 30 times. So that is a great one to have as well. You just want to put a stack in that, and then that will be you done for Sharandar. So the Dread Ring, this is probably the easiest one of the campaigns to do, because you can pretty much buy your way through with genie gifts. But you're going to want power and movement for this one. You can pick critical strike, it's up to you. It doesn't, for this build, it doesn't really make that much of a difference because it is only 250. But it's up to you. If you think you want more power or you want a little bit more critical strike, it's up to you. But I went for power. Lifesteal over regen, because lifesteal can gain you health back in battle. Regen's only outside of battle and when you're not in combat. You gain 3% resistance ignored. So I went with that because of the amount of damage, the amount of defense I have in the first place anyway. So it's just stacking more on top of it over the deflection chance. And I went with the, when dealing damage, you have a chance to deal up to 20,000 necromantic damage over a few seconds. After this effect ends, the target receives 25% less healing from spells for 10 seconds. And then the final one I went with, Rampaging Madness. So you deal damage and gain a stack of madness. When you reach 50 stacks of madness, you gain 4,000 power, 4,000 lifesteal, and 4,000 regeneration. 10 seconds after gaining this bonus, your stacks are reset. You may only gain 1 stack of madness per second. So this is a good one to have in the first place, whether it be dungeons or anywhere, purely because you get that 4,000 power and 4,000 lifesteal. You will be repping back your own health so quickly with it, because the lifesteal is done on a percentage of how much damage you deal. So that's amazing. Icewind Dale, again, I'll run through the ones I picked and ones that I will pick. So combat advantage over AoE resist, and stamina gain over incoming healing, crit severity over recovery, and then I'm going to pick, I think it was this bottom one. You gain 2,000 power based on how much stamina or guard you're missing. And then for the last one you want, which one was it? I think it was this bottom one. Yeah, action point gain when killing a target. So that's a really nice one to have to gain back 10% of your action points, because you can get crescendo off even faster. The Underdark one is really it's a boon or campaign that you're going to be only really using for the Demogorgon stuff anyway, because the later on ones are defensive only against certain people. So you want power and hit points for this one, crit strike and hit points for the second one. You're going to want probably the combat advantage over the other one. And you're going to want the regen stamina faster. And this one is probably that one. Gain 10% damage versus demons, purely because this one is outright slaying them. So it's a bit of a, like, you've got to kill them, really, than to be able to just generally do more damage. Then the Tyranny of Dragons, you're going to want power over hit points. You're going to want crit strike over deflection. You want defense over armor pen, lifesteal over regen, and then you're going to want to fully max out the critical severity. Again, it's just a no-brainer as we're such a high-class build. And there's my guild stronghold bonus. I get extra armor penetration, increased general defense, and I think we have a PvP one as well. So increases damage done by PvP Slayer enchantment by a percentage. So I don't do much PvP anyway, but again, it's still a nice one to have in case you do have to run into there. So I'm just going to show you lastly my stats. Again, so we're looking at 3,500 power here and 8,500 power there. But if we, whoops, I went in the wrong one. So if you're looking at your companions, there are some absolutely amazing companions for you to get. The Ion Stones are the best ones to have for any character, that is, hands down, because it does give you 100% of their stats to you. So as you can see, I have 2,000 power here and 1,500 crit strike. When I summon him, if I summon him, can I summon him? There we go. So it's finally summoned him, and the character sheet now is looking like this. So that's a nice little boost of 15,000 and 10,000 critical strike. So that also increases my critical chance to 48.6%, which is an extra 4%, which was really nice to have. As well as a new companion I have bought is the Yeti, purely for the 10% chance you gain 5% extra damage. Anyway guys, that is going to have to be the end of the video. If you've enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe for the channel for more stuff just like this, and if this build has helped you out, you guys, share the video with any of your friends. As always guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. I'm going to make a little giveaway. Comment your name, your gamer tag, and your character name. I will be giving away Aurora's Whole Realms catalogue. I'm going to be giving out the winner or naming the winner on my Twitter account, so go